Hi, my name is Graham Smith, and I'm one of the authors that helped develop the learning approach to mathematics that is found in our textbook as well as the video you are about to experience. To learn more about our approach to learning mathematics, visit the web address that accompanies this video. Now, enjoy the video. Mean, median, and mode. This video will help you find the mean of a data set, find the median of a data set, and find the mode of a data set. Find the mean of a data set. We'll start with the definition. The mean is the average of a data set. It is calculated by dividing the sum of the values by the number of values. The following bar graph shows Saeed's scores for 5 exams. And so listed down here we have his exams. Exam 1, Exam 2, all the way through Exam 5. And you can see the scores up here. So he got a 79 on his first exam and 82 on his next exam. And what we want to do now of all 5 of these exams is we want to find the mean, which is the average of these scores. And you notice we've drawn a line across there. The average has to be somewhere between the lowest score, 79, and the highest score, 93. So if we made a calculation here and ended up with an answer that was below 79 or higher than 93, we know we've made a mistake because the mean should be somewhere in between there. Okay, and let's take a look. And over here, this is how we calculate the mean. We take the sum of all of these scores, which means we're going to add all of these test scores up. And you can see that's what we're doing up here. So we've added all those test scores up. Now there are 5 exams here. So that means we have 5 pieces of data. So we want to divide this whole sum by 5. And so the way we would do this then is we would add all those numbers up, and when we add them all up, we get 435. When we divide 435 by 5, we get an 87. And so the average or mean of Saeed's exam scores, of these 5 exam scores, is 87. Now let's take a look at an example that will help you understand how to calculate the mean of a data set. Example 1. Find the mean for the data set. Round the answer to the nearest tenth. Well, let's take a look. Here's our data set, and to find the mean, what we need to do is we need to take the sum of the values divided by the number of these values. So let's write this out. We're going to add all of these things together. So I'd say 10 plus 6 plus 15 plus 7 plus 3 plus 3, and now we're going to divide that by the number of these values. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these values, so we'll be dividing by 6. And so we're going to add all of those numbers together in the top. When we add all of those numbers together in the top, we get 44. And now that needs to be divided by 6. So off on some scratch paper, what we're going to do is we're going to do some long division. And we're going to do 6 divided into 44. Since they asked us to round to the tenths place, let's put our decimal in here because the division is probably not going to work out evenly. When we do that division, 6 divides into 44, we get 7.3 repeating. So what we get here is we get 7.33 if I repeat that out to the hundredths place, which I need to because that 3 is going to tell me how to round this one so that I can round this answer to the tenths place. And so for the mean of this data set, we get 7.3. Now it's time to check your understanding of finding the mean of a set of data. Pause your video player and answer this guided practice question. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Question 1. Find the mean for the data set. Round the answer to the nearest tenth. Well, to find the mean of this data set, we're going to take the sum of the values. So I'll draw a big fraction bar there, and let's see, I'll have 8 plus 9 plus 11 plus 7 plus 6 plus 3 plus 10. And we're going to divide that now by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those values. So let's take a look. When I add all of those values together in the numerator of this fraction, I'll get 54. And so what I want to do now to calculate the mean then is I want to divide 7 into 54. So off on some scratch paper. We'll go 7 into 54. Put a decimal there because it's probably not going to go evenly. When we do that long division, we get 7.71. And so 7.71, notice I stopped in the hundredths place with that division because that tells me now how to round the tenths place. So that 1 is going to tell me to keep that 7 the same. So The mean for this data set is 7.7. Find the median of a data set. Start with a definition. The median is the middle number in a data set that has been ordered from least to greatest. So again, let's take a look at Saeed's exam scores. We have 5 of these scores. Now these exam scores are organized from least to greatest. We're starting over here with 79, which is the smallest, and then we work our way up to 93, which is the highest. So once we have these organized least to greatest, then what we're looking for is the one that's in the middle. And in this case, that is 90. So the median of this data set then is going to be 90, and you can see we have that listed over here with numbers too. And this is typically how we would calculate the median. We wouldn't draw a graph to do this. We would just organize our sets of data from least to greatest and then find the one that is exactly in the center. Now let's take a look at some examples that will help you understand how to find the median for a set of data. Example 2. Find the median for the data set. Well, here's our set of data. Before we're able to find the median, we're going to need to organize this data from least to greatest. So let's see, I'll start with the smallest value of 2. Once I write that down, I'll cross that out so I know that it's gone. Then we'll go to 3. Then the next largest piece of data is 7, so I'll cross that out. Then we go to 9, and then finally 10. Once I have the data organized from least to greatest, now I want to find the center of this data. So all I'm going to do is start crossing them off the edges here. So I'll go with the lowest one, 2, cross that out with the highest one, 10, and then I'll go to 3 and then 9, and I start crossing my way out there, and I see that 7 is in the exact center of this data set, so 7 is the median. Example 3. Find the median for this set of data. Well, again, set of data is not organized from least to greatest, so we'll do that. So 2 is the first one, 3, and then 5, and 7, 9, finally 10. Okay, just like I did before, now I'm going to start crossing off the edges here. So I'll take the smallest with the largest, 2 and 10, then 3 with 9, and now I want to stop right there. You can see that we have 2 numbers kind of in the middle of our data set, and this happens anytime that we have an even number of data. You'll notice here we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of data, an even number. When we have an even number, we're always going to end up with 2 numbers in the middle. So when we end up with 2 numbers in the middle, the way that we calculate the median is we take the average of these 2 numbers. So we are going to take the average of these 2 middle numbers, and remember, to calculate the average, all we do is add those 2 numbers together. Here are our numbers in the middle, 5 and 7. So I add 5 plus 7, then divide by the number of those numbers that I have, which is 2. And so what I get then is I get 5 plus 7 is 12. And then 12 divided by 2 is going to give me 6. So then the median of this data set is 6. Now it's time to check your understanding of finding the median for a data set. Pause your video player and answer these guided practice questions. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Question 2. Find the median for the data set. Well, here's our data set. We're going to need to organize it from least to greatest. So let's see, we'll start with 9. That's the smallest value that I have there. Cross that out. Looks like the next value is 11. And then I have an 11 again, so I would list that again. The next largest value is 12. It looks like I have another 12 after that, so I would list both of those 12s. Then we're going to go to 14. And then finally to 16. Okay? Once we have that organized, let's start crossing them off the edges to find the middle. So 9 and 16, 11 and 14, 11 and 12. So there is the center of our data set. So the median of this data set is 12. Question 3. Find the median for this data set. And again, let's organize this data set from least to greatest. So I would have 12, 13, 17, and 19. So we'll start, and you can see that we're going to end up with 2 in the middle since we had an even set here. We had 4 pieces of data, so we're going to have 2 numbers in the middle. So we want to find the average of these 2 numbers. And so the average is going to be 13 plus 17 divided by 2. So let's take a look here. 13 plus 17 is going to give me, let's take some scratch work there. 10, carry the 1, 30. 30 divided by 2, and if I cut 30 in half, I'll get 15. So that's going to be 15. So then the median for this data set is going to be 15. Find the mode of a data set. We'll start with a definition. The mode is the number that occurs most often in a data set. For example, the set 9, 7, 12, 7, 8 lists the sizes of shoes sold one morning at a shoe store. The mode of this data set is 7. Knowing the mode, a salesperson can better meet the needs of her clients at this shoe store. And so let's take a look how we know that the mode is 7. Here was our set of data and the sizes of shoes that we sold, and you can see that 7 appears twice. And since 7 appears twice, that piece of data occurs the most in this data set, so therefore it's the mode of this data set. Now let's take a look at some examples that will help you understand how to find the mode or modes of a data set. Example 4. Find the mode or / modes for this data set. And the reason that we have mode or modes is because there actually can be more than one mode in a set of data. So let's take a look at this first data set here. And let's look for a piece of data that occurs more than the others. And if you can take a look here, you'll see that 2 appears twice in this data set. All the other pieces of data, 1, 3, and 6, just occur one time. So we only have one mode for this data set, and that is 2. Example 2. Find the mode or modes for this data set. Let's take a look. 1 appears twice, but 3 also appears twice. So we have 2 pieces of data that occur more than the others, but occur the same number of times. So we actually have 2 modes of this data set, and the modes are 1 and 3. Example 6. Find the mode or modes for this data set. Well, let's take a look. We don't have any piece of data that appears more than once. So all of the data appears the same number of times in this case, and so if they all appear the same number of times, we say that there is no mode to this data set. Now it's time to check your understanding of finding the mode or modes for a set of data. Pause your video player and answer these guided practice questions. When you're done, hit play to see how you did. Question 4. Find the mode or modes for this data set. Well, taking a look here, looks like 10 appears twice. All the other pieces of data appear just one time, so we would have just one mode here, and the mode of this data set would be 10. Question 5. Find the mode or modes for this data set. Well, taking a look at this data set here, we don't have any piece of data that occurs more than one time. So they all appear exactly the same number of times. So we would say here, there is no mode. Question 6. Find the mode or modes for this set of data. Let's take a look here. It looks like 14 appears twice. 13 also appears twice. So it looks like here we have 2 modes. So the modes, plural, of this data set are 13 and 14. If you found this video helpful, I encourage you to check out our other videos that we have on YouTube, or visit the web address that accompanies this video to learn more about our approach to learning mathematics.